Hiya guys, West Country Explorer here. I'm down in Exeter today, and what I'm going to be doing today is there's 5 historical churches sort of in the centre of Exeter. Got a little card here showing off the 5 churches, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to be doing a little tour of the churches, sort of showing them off, doing a little bit of a talk of the history of them and all the rest. So what do you say guys, fancy coming along for a little journey? Yeah, of course you do. Come and have a look at these lovely 5 historical churches in Exeter. The first church I'm going to be taking around is the one behind me. It's St Martin's Church, and it's in the Cathedral Close area, so very close to Exeter Cathedral. So what I'll do is I'll give you a little look around, show you the lights and tell you a bit of the history of the place. As you can see guys, it's quite a nice looking little church. It's sort of hemmed in very closely by other buildings. Got Cathedral Close over there. I just show you the side of it. So nice sunny day today, lots of people about.
When he's working hard, he's doing a good job.
Then we went.
Very, very busy outside. Sort of a bit of a hustle and bustle. But as you can see guys, come inside. It's nice and quiet. So if you're in Exeter and you want a bit of peace and quiet away from the hustle and bustle, you can come into somewhere like this. Just look at the detail on this. I mean, the sounds of the city is shut away in here when you're in here. As you can see, such amazing detail. Right guys, I've got my trusty notebook so I can tell you the history of this place without having to try and remember it off the top of my head. So, as I said, St Martin's Church, and the first church on the site was consecrated on 6th of July 1065 by Bishop Leofric. He was the same bishop that consecrated Exeter Cathedral. And Bishop Leofric was a Burgundian, which may explain why St Martin's was dedicated to a French saint. And this church, it served the workers and traders in the parish that's smaller than a football pitch. The parish has a grand total of 1.75 acres, so not a very large parish at all. And for a long time the parish had its own fire engine, which initially was housed in a shed by the church, and then it was housed in the Royal Clarence Hotel nearby. Here we are in the High Street, and sandwiched between the Ivy and a Caff Nero is St Petrock's Church. Like I said, probably sandwiched between the two. Let's go and have a look inside. Alright, well the door's locked a minute, so I can't go inside. But I can do a bit of recording. Show you some of it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find somewhere suitable to do recording where I can tell you a bit of the history about St Petrock's. I think I'll just do the recording in this little portrait. So yeah, so a bit of history on St Petrock's Church. Documentary evidence for St Petrock's begins in the 12th century, though it probably has an ancient foundation. It's dedicated to St Petrock, who's the 6th century missionary from South Wales. The church was blocked by buildings on all but the south side, and so that was the only direction in which it could extend. This has resulted in an interior that the architectural historian Nicholas Pevensner described as amongst the most confusing of any church in the whole of England. St Petrock's was one of only 4 parish churches to remain in Exeter during the Commonwealth under the Reverend Mark Down, a lively and influential preacher. After the Restoration, he was evicted as a nonconformist, lived for 20 years longer, and is now buried in the church. During the 19th century, the church was extended again to the extent that it became as wide as it was long. In the 1970s, the original south wall was reinstated to divide it into 2. One part is now released to a charity that provides advice and support for homeless people. I said, unfortunately, I can't show you much of the inside, but I've done what I can. Right, just down the road a bit in 4th Street, and here we've got the outside of St Olave's Church. Quite a small little church again, surrounded by quite a few buildings. Right, safe to cross. Get up close on this little detail there, that's quite nice. I have seen someone go in, so I know this church is open. Such an amazing little church, this. So lovely. And again, it's so quiet in here. So quiet and lovely. Alright, we'll just come round here. See if I can get a good shot of that figure. Wrong angle, not the way. Alright, so St Olave Church was founded in 1053 by Lady Giffer, a Danish noblewoman who was married to Godwin, Earl of Wessex. Her son-in-law was Edward the Confessor, King of England, and when he died on the 5th of Jan 1066, Lady Giffer's son, Harold Godwin's son, became King of England till he was killed at the Battle of Hastings. St Olaf, who this church is dedicated to, was King of Norway from 1015 till 1028 and is traditionally seen as leading the Christianisation of Norway. Nothing of Lady Giffer's original church survived, except perhaps the small square tower which was later built into the body of the church. The church was largely rebuilt towards the end of the 14th century, with further large-scale modifications taking place in the 15th century. During the Commonwealth period, the church was declared redundant and was employed as a parish schoolroom for a time. Between 1635 and 1758, it was a place of worship for French Protestant Huguenots refugees. Thereafter, it served as a military chapel for a while. In 1971, it became part of the parish of Central Exeter and is still regularly used for worship by the parish and also by the Roman Orthodox Church. Here we got St Pancras Church, tucked away in the Guildhall Centre area. Like I say, surrounded by quite a lot of shops and all the rest. A few little food stalls here. Lovely, lovely smelling food, all right up against the church. Right then guys, let's take you inside. And it's pretty quiet in here. You can hear a little bit of the noise outside, but it's not too noisy. It's nice and quiet in here. While I think of it, I'll show you this old sign. That's a fair few years old, that sign. Right, back to the good old book. Right, so St Pancras Church. The dedication is an early one, likely to the teenage boy martyr killed by the Roman Emperor Diocletian in 304 AD. The present building is first recorded in 1191 AD. When the chancel was rebuilt in the 19th century, there was found what seems to be a Saxon doorway in the south wall, indicating Saxon origins. There's no tower, but there is a bell turret with a medieval bell made by the Exeter bell founder, Robert Newton, in the mid-15th century. Now there is an inscription, a Latin one. I'm going to do my best at reading it. Quam vis sum parvas, tamen audio ampler per ava. So, sorry if I've butchered that Latin pronunciation, but that translates into English as, I may be small, nevertheless I am heard over a wide distance. Now the stone staircase, of which are now only the entrance, originally led to the top of a wooden screen dividing the nave from the chancel. The Jacobean pulpit was brought here in 1906 from All Hallows Church, when that one was demolished. Since the Reformation, St Pancras has been intermittently closed, disused and dilapidated for large periods, and also long jostled by houses, shops and stables built up against it. Holy Communion is still regularly celebrated here, so it is still sort of being used as a church. And a lovely quiet little church it is as well. Here we have our fifth and final church of the video, St Stephen's Church, on the High Street up in the main part of the city centre. See St Stephen's bow there. So this is the prettier side, there's not a massive amount to see on the other side. Alright then guys, let's take you inside. Alright, back to the good book for a little bit of history. Right, so St Stephen's Church has Anglo-Saxon origins and is one of only 6 churches in the whole of England that has an Anglo-Saxon crypt. One of the other 5 churches is St Giles Church at Sidbury, Devon. In the early 14th century, a new chancel was created by building one over the lane adjacent to the church, thus creating St Stephen's Bow in the process. So we're in that chancel now, so I'm standing over St Stephen's Bow. Now, during the Civil War, St Stephen's was reckoned as a royalist parish, though at the start of the war, Exeter had declared for Parliament. In 1655, the parish was given a gift of 4.5 acres of land by the Countess of Pembroke, given an annual rent of £12. The gift was still in existence and well used in 1907. In 1658, the church was sold to a merchant called Toby Allen for £230. At the restoration of the monarchy under King Charles II in 1660, the new Parliament declared that any legislation made under the Commonwealth was invalid, and so St Stephen's was returned to the parishioners. The church was severely damaged by fire in 1662. George Potter, a merchant and alderman, gave £500 for its rebuilding. So there you go. Right, now for a bit of bonus material, I'm going to bring you under here, under St Stephen's Bow, because what it is, up ahead, is some old ruins that I'm going to show you off. So there's the back side of the church, the other side. But down here, this is part of a complex that was St Catherine's Almshouse area back in the past. We've got these ruins here. I'm not exactly sure what this building was. Don't know if it might have been a church or something. Bit of info here. What's this say? No, I can't really read it. Saturday the 12th of October 1782. I can't really read that. I'm not quite sure what that says. I can read a bit of it, but not all of it. There's some more right here. No, I can't really properly read that. There's another little bits of history, but I can't see what it says. So there you go guys, a little tour of 5 very old churches sort of in Exeter city centre. Hope you've enjoyed coming along on this little tour with me, and if you're ever in Exeter, yeah, I'd say it's worth having a little look around these places, because as you saw from the video, Exeter can be quite a sort of bustling city, quite noisy, which is a nice thing, you know, I've got no complaints about that. But if you ever want to get away from the noise for a few minutes, So any one of these churches, you can just pop into them and you get a nice bit of peace and quiet from the hustle and bustle of city life. So anyway guys, thank you for coming along. Look forward to seeing you in the next video. Now tomorrow, Amy and I are off to Glastonbury for the day, so I might be doing a video there. So keep your eyes open for that. But anyway guys, I'm going to bring this video to an end. And yeah, look forward to seeing you in the next one. And in the meantime, the usual, stay safe, take care, God bless.